Thanks for joining us on our next tutorial on the Daily Fantasy Rankings website. And we're actually going to talk about player scores from previous years, breaking down by team by team. I've got Hef here to talk me through the data. Hef, what am I looking at on this particular table itself?
This is an amazing little table, this player scores one. We can fit so much data on the one page. Basically, we're looking at each team. We've got all the players, all their scores for all 23 rounds last year, give you their average, give you their last 5 scores. All in one place. So you don't have to go digging around everywhere. If you just want to have a quick look at who's in form or what someone did in a certain game, you can come here and get the scores at the click of your fingertips.
You can sort it out, obviously sort it out by team, and you can also sort it out by years, going back to 2015. What if I click this advanced stats? What does that one do for me?
Give it a click and we'll find out.
All right, fair enough.
Basically, it's just going to break down how these scores were made up. So loads up here. You can see we've got disposals, marks, tackles, goals, and time on ground. Basically all the components on how these scores were generated. So that's really handy if you want to have a bit of a closer look. You might find a bit of an outlier, and looking at these advanced stats, you might see, they had 14 tackles. That probably explains why they scored a lot more in that game than another. So, it's good to have everything in one place.
And tell me about these colours. What do these actually colours signify for me?
Okay, so we use 5 colours throughout our AFL resources section. The lowest scores will come up in red. That'll move to orange, which will move to green, which will move to light blue, and getting through to dark blue. So that it just makes it easier to see when players have had big games, when players have had shockers. As you can see there, Tom Hawkins got a nice range of reds all the way through the blues. As you keep scrolling down, you see a lot more reds from a lot more lower scores. Just another way to try and make the data stand out and make it easier to read for everyone.
So if we apply this to a DFS terminology, if I'm talking about players with good floors, I'm looking at your greens and your blues, or even a constant yellows, etc. And then obviously for ceiling players, I'm looking here, say like Tom Stewart here. He has these obviously lighter blues mixed in with reds and yellows, and obviously a darker blue here at the end of the season. Would that be a fair summary of those particular 2 types of player that we're looking for?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. You can see pretty quickly how consistent a player is, where those spikes are, where the floor falls out of their scores. So yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Now, you'll be able to find these on the player scores of our Daily Fantasy Rankings website. You can choose which team would you like to choose. Hef, there's anything else you want to touch on here from this tutorial?
No, that's all good. It just does what it says it's going to do. It gives you all the scores in one place, and you find it really handy through the year.
So make sure you check out these resources on dailyfantasyrankings.com.au. Thanks again, Hef.
Thanks, mate. See ya.
See you, mate.